There are areas all around Central Texas just like this. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll miss it. The Tonkawas were a tribe of Indians that lived in the Central Texas area for hundreds, possibly thousands of years. They were pushed a little further east by the migration of the Comanche and the Apache. This is what I believe is one of their sites. I'm surrounded by middens here. These were ancient cooking areas for what I believe was a Tonkawa tribe. You can look at the rocks and the shapes of them, and you can tell that they're part of some sort of cooking fire. The Indians used to set the meat on top of flat limestone rocks and put it in the fire and cook the meat. During the cooking process, the limestone rocks would crack, forming these little square blocks. Most of the contemporary hauntings that people know about have to do with buildings, like in Austin, the Driscoll Hotel, Buffalo Billiards, the Clay Pit. These places have been around for a little over 100 years, but what about these places? These places where the Native Americans lived. There's hundreds, if not thousands of people that lived at this very spot. The Tonkawas, if that's who they were, buried their dead. Their cemeteries are all around us here. We just don't know where they are because they're not registered. Would they have the same type of phenomenon happening here? It's just because these places are on private property, nobody knows about them, nobody's paying attention. What if you knew what to look for? Paranormal investigating has to do with a lot of disciplines. As a ghost hunter, you're just going to a spot, let's say to a cemetery, and to go hunt ghosts. You haven't done any research on whether there's an actual haunting there or not. Paranormal investigators, on the other hand, go and do research. They find out ghost stories from people, and then they go to the spot and see if they can get to pick up the manifestation or any kind of evidence. Now, a paranormal detective looks at all the research. They hear the story, and then they hit their books. They go in and they find specific things about that particular phenomenon and see if they can actually support the ghost story. Nope. This appears to be the only still intact midden. There's been no digging around this particular fire ring. And you can see the tree is growing right out of the center of where the fire would have been. The Indians would have sat and cooked, fellowshipped, and done whatever they do in the evening while they're cooking. Now, if the Tonkawas lived in this area for, let's say, 100 years, and let's say there was only 1,000 of them, think of how many burial areas there would be here. how many graves would be scattered all through these woods. Generally, when the Tonka were buried, the corpse, they would cut their hair, they put yellow paint on their face, and their body would be wrapped in buffalo skin or buffalo robes. They were buried with their important possessions, and the other possessions were usually burned. So there's no telling what kind of graves we have all through this area. The Native Americans would have buried their dead in areas just like this. There's been plenty of skeletons found in cliff crevices all through this area. We're not here to disturb these particular grave sites. We're just here to pose the question. If someplace is haunted, what causes the haunting? Is it the person at the site that somehow disturbs whatever it is that's there? Or is the thing that's there all the time and we just don't know what to look for? I pose the question to you, and I'm going to continue looking.